Namaste and welcome. It is Rishi here from meditatewithrishi.com, and today we are speaking about one of the biggest causes of our suffering, which is our own thoughts, our own monkey mind, and our tendency to get pulled into the stories created by this monkey mind, right? And of course, the process of becoming free of this. So we're going to speak about that in detail. Before we begin, I want to let you know that if you're interested in learning meditation or you want to speak about some life stuff, I do offer one-to-one sessions that can be booked through the website, okay? So that's my little plug there. But let's get into it. Monkey mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with what is the monkey mind, really understanding this phenomenon, and then speaking about what, the ways that it makes us suffer, and essentially what we can do to break free from this. Because ultimately, if we can get ourselves in a position where we are in control to an extent of what we decide to think about or the direction we want to take our mind in, instead of being pulled into multiple directions by the mind, then we have a better chance of being happy, feeling in control, feeling peaceful and organized in our mind, right? That's the whole idea, okay? So what is the monkey mind? Now, think of it like this. I'll give you a simple example. Let's say you are reading a book, and this happens to all of us, right? You read, and then you get to a place where after reading a whole page, you realize that, wow, I didn't register anything from this page. I wasn't here, right? I wasn't focused. So what's happening there? Why weren't we focused? Because the eyes were moving, right? Our eyes were moving through the words, but nothing was registering. The thing that was missing was our awareness. We were not aware, essentially. And why were we not aware? Because the monkey mind pulled our awareness into, it broke our awareness, essentially, right? So this, ability of our mind to come up with its own thoughts and emotions and stories constantly, the constant stream of thoughts, emotions, stories that is being created is the monkey mind, right? Because a monkey, the analogy is the monkey is jumping from one thought to another, to another, to another. It's constantly creating all these new stories and new movies and ideas. And we don't have much control over that. And because a lot of those are negative in nature, we suffer, right? We suffer. Our thoughts make us suffer, essentially. So I want to share with you just a few examples of this, in case you're wondering, what do you mean by our thoughts make us suffer, right? So one simple example is that it distracts us from what we really want to do, right? Let's say you start the day and you say that, okay, this morning I want to get XYZ things done, okay? And you know that if you finish those things, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel happy about yourself because you've been productive. But the monkey mind can come in and, distract you from your main goal, distract us from our main goal. So anything, from the desire to open up Instagram and start scrolling, or the desire to start browsing the web and look at different articles and forget about, the main thing we need to do. This is the monkey mind really taking over, taking control, taking charge, and creating disharmony in our mind and in our actions, essentially. So the result of that is suffering, right? Because we waste hours, we don't do what we need to do, and then we're not happy with ourselves, right? So this is it's subtle, right? It's not a big deal on its own, but if this continues happening day after day, week after week, then we all know that we're not going to get to where we want to get to, right? That's one example. Another example is this one's I find this quite funny because all of us do this, right? Is if someone says something to us, right? Let's say, the Buddha, something that he said, right, is we have this tendency that if we have 9 things going well and one thing going not so well, we tend to focus on that one thing, that problem, right? And make that the center thing in our mind and create a big, create a mountain out of a molehill. And we think that our life sucks, and we think that we're really suffering. So, for example, let's say you're just going about your day, or you're coming into work, and someone says something to you that's a bit rude or a bit offensive. Even though that's such a small thing compared to your whole day, we start to think over that and start ruminate over that, and we start thinking about, how could they say this to me? How dare they say this to me? And we start thinking about, what should I have said, or how can this is what I'm going to tell this person, this is how I should retaliate. And we just go off into this this frenzy of trying to show the other person that they're wrong and we're right, and they should not be speaking to us like that. And the truth is that why do we want to go down that road, right? It's just a blip in the whole day. We instead, right, if we had awareness, we could say, look, that person's probably just having a bad day. I'm gonna let them be and just carry on with my day, right? So when we have this awareness, we don't let the monkey mind take over and create these stories, and especially negative stories in our mind, right? That's another example. I want to give you one more just to drill this in. This is also a funny one, but something that happens, regularly with us, right? So it might sound like I'm speaking about girls, but I'm not, because boys do this as well. So let's say, for example, you get a pimple, okay? You get a pimple, you wake up in the morning and you see the pimple in the mirror. Now, a pimple is just a pimple. If we let it be, it's going to go away in some time, right? But what our mind does is something completely different. So we go there, we see that there's a pimple, and we start thinking, why has this pimple come? This is making me look ugly. Now everyone's going to be looking at me. Everyone's going to be looking at my pimple, right? And then we go out in the day, we go onto the train, and we see people, we see someone looking at us, and we think they're looking at my pimple, right? They're looking at my pimple. If we see two people talking and looking at us, we feel like they're talking about me and talking about my pimple, right? This happens so much. And the mind now has started to create stories, and this can lead to us thinking that actually I'm ugly, I'm not good looking, and why does this person have better skin than me? Why are they so blessed, and why is my skin so bad? And this is, again, I'm saying it like it's funny, but this is what actually happens, and we create our own suffering because of our own thoughts. In fact, thoughts that are just they're not true. They're not true at all, right? And this is the power of the monkey mind, because the monkey mind, it always needs something to do. It always needs to be active. And if we don't give it something to do ourselves, it's going to essentially take the reins and create a havoc. That's what it likes to do, essentially. So what? So what, right? Where do we go from here? So this is, after these examples, the kind of main point of me doing this video is to share with you something that the Buddha taught, is that we don't need to be a victim of this monkey mind, right? We don't need to be a victim of this monkey mind. So what does this mean, and how can we get our control back? Okay, how can we get our control back? So the first thing is really education. It's knowing that the monkey mind is not our real mind. It is not our natural state. The monkey mind is not our real mind. It is not our natural state. It may look like, because we're always, engrossed in it, but it's not. Okay, so what is our natural state is something we all have, called awareness. Okay, awareness is our natural state. Awareness is our natural mind, essentially. So I'll give you an example so you can understand this, right? The traditional examples given are that awareness is like the clear sky, and our thoughts and emotions are like the clouds that are passing on that sky. Okay, so awareness is the sky, and our thoughts and emotions, or monkey mind, are just the clouds passing on that sky. So do you see what this looks like, right? If clouds are passing by, that means that awareness can actually watch the clouds just come and go, without being identified by them, without being pulled away by them, or even without being changed by them, right? Whether we have really beautiful white fluffy clouds, or whether we have, dark, thick gray clouds, ultimately the sky is unchanged. The sky remains completely pure, completely clear. And that is the awareness. That is the true essence of who we are, the true essence of our mind, the natural mind, essentially, right? Another example is simply like a movie a movie screen and the movie playing on the screen. Okay, so the movie screen is when you go to a cinema, you have the plain white screen, which the projector will then project on and play the movie, right? So this plain white screen is our natural mind. That is our true essence, our basic state. And our thoughts and emotions are just the different movies playing on that mind. So again, no matter what movie is playing, whether it's a nice, happy, funny movie or a scary movie, it doesn't change the background screen that is playing on. The background screen is completely neutral, white, clear, pure, untouched, untainted. Okay? So this is the idea. So if we can switch things, right? If we can switch things and be more and more with our awareness, as opposed to being more and more with our thoughts and movies and stories, then we can be in control, we can feel peaceful, we can feel harmony, essentially. I hope that makes sense. It's pretty simple, right? I'm sure you're following. So what do we do then? How do we do this? How do we become more and more resting with our awareness, our natural mind, and not entangled with the monkey mind and its thoughts and stories and emotions? How do we do this, right? So this is this is, of course, why we meditate. This is why we meditate, right? The whole purpose of meditation is to help us strengthen our awareness, right? So I want to share with you the solution here. By the way, if you've watched this far, then please watch to the end, because the real juice of how to break free from the monkey mind is going to come now, is what I'm sharing with you now, okay? So in very simple terms, okay, we can say that there are two main types of meditation. So the first meditation is doing what we have spoken about so far, detangling ourselves, detaching ourselves from the monkey mind and thoughts and emotions, and helping us rest and stay more with our awareness. Okay, so these meditations are called meditations on awareness meditation, or you can say resting the mind, resting the monkey mind. Okay, so a simple example here is focusing on the breath, right? Resting our awareness on the breath. So the intention is, the more we can stay with the breath, the more we can be there steady with the breath, and the less we're getting carried away by our thoughts and emotions and things like that. And whenever we do get carried away, we simply gently, lovingly come back to our breathing, right? Awareness of breathing. So this is a method to strengthen awareness and be more and more with our awareness and less with our monkey mind and thoughts and emotions, right? That's awareness meditation. The other type of meditation is for actually changing the movies themselves. So see, when you're going through the day, right, it's not like if you become a great meditator, you're not going to have thoughts. Of course, when you're engaging with stimuli and you're going about your day, you will have thoughts. You will have so many thoughts, right? Because you're interacting with the world. But what are those thoughts? Because right now we're suffering because they're negative in nature. There are negative stories, negative storylines that we keep following and we suffer inside. But what if they were negative? What if the thoughts that were popping up were actually positive and happy and joyful? Then our experience of life would change. right? So this is where the second type of meditation comes in, which is meditations to shape the mind, right? And what are we doing here? What are we changing, right? So in very simple terms, there are thoughts that lead to suffering and thoughts that lead to happiness, right? The Buddha taught that the thoughts, the kind of thinking that leads to suffering is thoughts of anger, of jealousy, of pride, because they make us feel like they're negative in nature, right? So they lead to suffering. On the flip side, thoughts of love, of compassion, of kindness, of generosity, of wanting to share, these type of thoughts of contentment, these are thoughts that lead to happiness, essentially. So over time, over the lifetimes that we've lived, we have gathered up a lot of imprints of these different thoughts in our store consciousness, and that's what keeps coming up, right? So what we want to do is we want to purify this, we want to cleanse this, and we want to transform it from negative to positive. It's kind of like if you have a glass of dark black, or brown muddy water, that's dirt, right? But if you just keep on pouring clean water in, you just keep on pouring clean water, that it's gonna cleanse that glass, and you're gonna be left with completely clean water in the glass. So by doing meditations that shape the mind, intentionally thinking thoughts of loving kindness, of compassion, of gratitude, these type of things, we can change the actual content of our mind. So then even when thoughts are coming up, they are happy thoughts. When we look around, we actually see things in a positive light as opposed to a negative light. The stories that our mind starts creating are positive in nature, and then it's not so bad, right? So these are the two things that we want to do that are the solution to our monkey mind problem. One, we want to we want to strengthen our awareness, right? We want to be able to be more present with our awareness and not get entangled by the monkey mind. And secondly, we want that whatever thoughts are popping up naturally, that they're positive in nature and they're leading to happiness, right? So meditations for strengthening awareness and meditations for shaping the mind. This is the essence of meditation path, meditation practice in very simple terms, okay? So where do we go from here? The point of this video was to kind of, highlight the problem of the monkey mind and how it makes us suffer and what the solution is. So over the next few weeks, I'll be expanding on these topics, speaking more about, how to create the causes of happiness, cultivating thoughts of love, of compassion, etc. And I'll be recording meditations that you can do on this channel, right? Simple, basic meditations to help you begin, rest with awareness and also shape the mind in positive ways, okay? So that's something I'll be doing indefinitely. This is the point of the channel, okay? But also I want to say that if you're at a place where you feel like you are, serious, you want to make a change, you want to start meditating consistently and you want some guidance, then I welcome you to reach out and, book a call with me, and I can tell you about the courses that I offer, the one-to-one tailored sessions that I offer, and, those could be of benefit as well. So that is it. That's it for today's video. I will see you next week. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and I really hope this helps. Namaste.